I spoke about the Indie Game Awards the other day, talking about how Clair Obscur Expedition 33 were removed from winning the Game of the Year and debut game, which was strange enough on the surface. And I dove into that a little bit deeper and talked about the second part of this, which is turning out to be actually a bigger story than I initially thought it was. The second update is in regards to an Indie Vanguard recipient. Initially discovered through itch.io's Game Boy competition in 2023 and later played on cart via ModRetro, Gortyn Code was selected as an Indie Vanguard due to their impressive work in GB Studio and for crafting such an amazing throwback for the modern day. The physical cart of Chantey is being produced and sold by ModRetro, and it is the sole workplace where it can be purchased. The IGA's nomination committee were unfortunately made aware of ModRetro's nature and principles the day after the 2025 premiere news of their upcoming handheld console, as the company strictly goes against the values of the IGAs due to ties with ModRetro. Indie Vanguard has also been retracted as we do not want to provide the company with a platform. So when I read that, I'm like, there's a whole lot of words that doesn't really say anything except we don't like them and we don't want to prop them up. They don't actually say what they did wrong. They don't say what they're doing that's just so terrible that they don't want to prop them up. And they just say, oh, they're really bad. And we don't want to be associated with them, which, by the way, as an outlet providing awards to other companies, I guess you're welcome and well within your right to say who you want to connect with and who you don't. Fine. But when I started diving into this, I was like, this is actually really strange because the only thing that I'm seeing, ModRetro announces version of chromatic retro handheld made from materials used in military drones. And that's it. They're made from materials used in weapons. But the Game Boy is not a weapon. It's not a bomb. It's not a gun. It's made out of the same material. So the people that are like into military stuff or want something that's really unique or cool, like, oh, here's a one-of-a-kind style thing where it's like most game devices aren't made out of stuff that are weapon material. That, for certain people, could be super unique. But apparently there's like a very strong anti-weapon sentiment with these journos. They are, at the end of the day, modern-day hippies. They are the equivalent of people in the 60s, live free and do drugs and make love, not war, bro. That's these people just in 2025, 2026. That the same exact. I wonder if they don't even know that, by the way. We got Gortyn Code with a statement that they've made. This is the company behind making the game, Chantey. They said, statement on the Indie Game Awards latest announcement regarding Chantey, TLDR. Chantey's award retracted by IGA's producers over cartridges being reproduced and sold by ModRetro. Response to a virtue signaling statement by IGA's director filled with falsehoods and inaccuracies. And this is from Gortyn Code, the game developer and creator of Chantey. They said, ahoy, mateys. If you've been following my work, you might be aware of Chantey's recent selection at the Indie Game Awards for the Indie Vanguards category, as I have enthusiastically shared on my socials. So they were super happy to be nominated and win this award. Like this was something that was very meaningful to them. And thinking that they did nothing wrong. Like they didn't even have an idea of, oh, there's hippies running this show that hate that this is associated with a weapons manufacturer, apparently. Again, nothing to do with the game at all. You might hence also be aware that this honor has since been officially retracted as a result of Gortyn Code's collaboration with ModRetro on the publishing of Chantey onto physical cartridges for actual hardware, the way the game was always meant to be played. This hurts, I'm not going to lie, but I'm also not going to back down. So, in response to this news, but mostly the public statement to IGA's director, Mike Towndrow, decided to circulate on social media and press without first talking things over with me. I take this opportunity to retort and appreciate your attention to the matter. First and foremost, the IGAs were not first made aware of Chantey during the GB Compo 23, which happened 2 years ago. We never spoke during that time. For them to kindly let me know I was on their radars, as they claim, I submitted all materials to 61 Indie directly through the IGA submission form, like everybody else. Hence, my game was not discovered as implied in Mike's video, as I literally presented my game to the IGAs for award consideration using a submission form, where I have never hidden the fact ModRetro was the game's publisher. In fact, I even linked on said submission form to the game's page on the ModRetro website, the same link the IGAs redirected anyone clicking on Chantey during the brief period of the game was featured on IndieGameAwards.gg. The ModRetro name and logo as the game's publisher has been on all my marketing materials, including all my socials and website, including itch.io, since day one of our collaboration. And even my presence at Gamescom this year was on a ModRetro themed booth. Basically, what he's saying is none of this should be a surprise. It's all been a part of the game the entire time. So these tards over at Indie Game Awards did zero research, and they wanted to make some sort of virtue signaling statement of, oh, we disavow this company working with this weapons manufacturer because he made a Game Boy that weapons manufacturer made a Game Boy that was made out of weapon parts. So because of that, the game that he made can't be recognized anymore. Huh? Never once did I trick anyone at the IGAs into believing otherwise, as Mike's statement implies. In fact, I even added the ModRetro name and shouted them out in my acceptance video. Mike himself personally commended me for this shout out to ModRetro on an email I received from him on November 26th, almost a full month before the award were to air. Based on the IGA's values, in quotes, on which my game award was retracted, Mike and the 6-1 Indie team could have taken action back then and save all of us the embarrassment of today. However, they either did not care at the time or weren't really interested enough in the game to look up some basic information about it. A simple Google search would have sufficed. Mike even told me he was playing the game while congratulating me. So the literal first screen of the game showcasing the ModRetro logo could have clued the 6-1 Indie team as to who the publisher was. So either Mike did not play the game or didn't seem to care about the game's collaboration with ModRetro or the IGA's values at the time. My point here is that the official statement issued by Mike on behalf of the IGAs is making it seem like I tricked people into selecting my game for Indie Vanguard by not disclosing information. This is straight up disingenuous and puts a dent in Gortyn Code's reputation, seeing how quickly Mike circulated the info to the press. Yeah, with a very slanderous nature of verbiage, by the way. Most of all, it is a cowardly attempt to throw Gortyn Code under the bus for an oversight on their part, based on their values, I'll keep repeating. Also, based on IGA's official documentation, the award was selected by a jury, not Mike himself or any single person. So literally everyone on the IGA side knew, i.e. wasn't made aware one day after the show premiered, that the game was being published by ModRetro. So I can only imagine Mike couldn't handle the idea of potential backlash to a decision made whilst fully in the know, and then simply decided to direct that backlash my way, publicly shaming and calling me out, collecting his precious internet karma while doing so. Oh yeah, the virtue signaling is strong with those people. And leaving me to deal with damage control, of which this statement is a part, on a Sunday I should be spending with my kids, no less. So again, they knew that this was a problem, but didn't say anything because they're like, oh, we want to recognize this. It's not a problem because who's going to say anything? Then when it came out that there was potential backlash and people had issues with it, the cult of virtue signalers came at the Indie Game Awards saying, you can't give that award to them. They have a game connected to a weapons manufacturer. This goes against our ideology. And you will be excommunicated from the cult if you move forward with giving them this award. And of course, like all good members of the cult, they bent the knee immediately and said, yeah, We're taking that award away from you, you bad guys over there, for daring to collaborate with a company that you already knew they did originally. Nothing is new here. The fact a solo indie dev is thrown under the bus like that is even more outrageous when considering that not long ago, the IGA's team were on the receiving end of backlash and negative comments, to which I personally reached out to Mike and expressed my sympathy and support. Never do that with these people. They will cut you and leave you to bleed out. They are awful, awful scumbags. It is beyond comprehension and frankly disgusting to think Mike would then resort to the same tactic of public shaming and letting an angry mob loose on the comment section of his Blue Sky social media post, the official way of retracting my award. Blue Sky. Oh boy. As long as the 6-1 indie looks like the morally superior actor in this, the public shaming and tolerance for hate on their social media can be justified, I guess. Apart from the virtual signaling, Mike and 6-1 indie keep evangelizing their support for indies, helping indie devs grow and making stuff happen for indies through their showcases and shows, even going so far as to claiming they are protecting other nominees, winners, judges, and sponsors from, well, me, regardless of how they reward their statement. Clearly, a disclaimer regarding which indies 6-1 indie will tolerate, preferably updated on a daily basis, seeing their values do not remain consistent over the course of a month, is needed in all 6-1 indie public-facing materials, which, by the way, real quick, this is kind of like the whole, they revoked the Game of the Year award from Claire Obscure because it was found out to be using generative AI that they had patched out almost immediately. And it was just on documents that were posted to billboards in the initial stage. And it's not in the rest of the game or anywhere else. But just having a newspaper in the game that was generative AI was enough to disqualify the entire game. Yet pretty much every game out there uses some sort of AI. So now they're going to be cherry picking which ones don't use it. Good luck with that. Even though next year your value is going to completely change again, because that's what these people do. Seeing how they publicly shame me, not one, but two indie developers, proving juvenile arguments in both cases, as the reasons for retraction were publicly known for months prior to the awards, even accepting nominations. Had I not been a part of the debacle already, I'd seriously consider any association with 6-1 indie after it. It blows my mind that even after being around so much indie talent, as made evident on the award show, Mike and 6-1 indie appear to be extremely ignorant regarding how tough the indie landscape is to navigate, especially for a solo dev, without having to also worry about some 6-1 indie organization pulling the rug from under their feet when they're at their highest. Also, the timing of this further raises questions, as I am pretty sure that using copyrighted works, game footage, game logos, key art, etc., to drive audience engagement from the time you nominated the games to the actual awards premiere, and then quickly disassociating yourself from that use and disregarding any collaboration with the people granting you access to their IP and work to help you get more traction for your award ceremony is at least as bad as claiming you are against AI, because you consider it stealing other people's work to pursue your goals and maximize your output. Very true. Obviously, I'm not talking about Chantey here, as that was a secret to be revealed during the ceremony. I'm talking about that other indie studio you also casually decided to shame publicly. See the irony here? So on that note, I have to at least thank Mike and the 6-1 indie team for putting Chantey in the same company as one of, if not the most beloved indie game title to emerge in recent years. I will hence wear my award retraction as a badge of honor, seeing who I'm next to. To all fellow indies, please let my experience be a heads up on dealing with the likes of Mike and 6-1 indie while navigating this industry in pursuit of your passion and your dreams. Never give up. I know I won't. So I saw this come through, and then I noticed the Journal Mafia jumping in to push more slander and attack against them. This is Time Extension, the wokies over there, Site News, why we won't be covering ModRetro products moving forward. The Andril Chromatic is the final straw. ModRetro, the retro gaming community owned by Palmer Luckey, has garnered considerable media attention recently due to its excellent chromatic handheld and its upcoming FPGA N64 system. We've given plenty of coverage to ModRetro. However, ModRetro's recent announcement that it is manufacturing a chromatic which comes with Anduril Industries branding is, for us, a step too far. Anduril is another of Palmer Luckey's companies and is an American defense technology firm which develops autonomous weapon systems, including drones and planes. Oh, no. So because they make weapons, you cannot cover the video games that are associated with this too. So now you are going from being a website that is covering gaming news to politicizing it, saying which ones you were choosing to cover and which ones you won't, inserting yourselves and turning this into a political agenda now. These people are all the same. Editor's note, it has been falsely suggested on social media that the reason we're taking this action is that sales of this new handheld will benefit U.S. veterans. It's totally and utterly incorrect. The reason we're not covering ModRetro anymore is because the company placed a logo of an arms company on a toy. Oh, no. No, not that. God forbid. So anything Lockheed Martin, any of these companies that dare do a collaboration with a game company to brand it with something cool. What if you're in the military and you're a gamer? You're not allowed to want that kind of stuff. You're a bad person now for wanting a weapons company branded on a video game system. I'm failing to see the connection here. I'm really genuinely struggling with this. I think the biggest issue is these are, like I said earlier, these are hippies. These are not actual gamers. They might think they're gamers, but they're injecting ideologies into the industry while they're here. They probably on the side were like, I like video games, but at the end of the day, I care more about my ideology to push it forward. Guess who else, by the way? Oh, Kotaku. I know you're all shocked. Palmer Luckey's retro gaming company is selling a Game Boy made of the same metal as attack drones. The Anduril chromatic device is made for performance and reliability. In case you're playing Tetris in a war zone, I guess. Anyways, I read through this whole thing. I'm not going to waste your time with it. But this is a direct attack against the company for daring to collaborate with a weapons company. Which again, if you don't like that, if you don't feel comfortable with it, oh, okay. I think all people need to know is that's disclosed. But why would you slander them? Why would you go after them? Why would you remove a winner? This is Chantey on ModRetro. Ready? Look at this. This is the game. It looks almost like an RPG Guitar Hero that looks pretty badass, actually. Like, it looks like a pretty fun game. This is just one of the games in the game where you actually walk around the town. Kind of looks like Pokemon a little bit, like an RPG. The dog is off limits to civilians. Like, this looks pretty fun. I think there's a reason why this game won. So I think it's classic when they go out and attack this because they dared collaborate with a weapons company. Who cares? I'm still my brain cannot comprehend it. I don't understand why it's a problem. And I've noticed, by the way, that these journos cannot explain that. They just say really awful things about them. In fact, let me play it for you. This is on Blue Sky, the Indie Game Awards. The IGA's nomination committee is officially retracting debut game and game of the year, awarding both categories to new recipients. Additionally, we are retracting one of the Indie Vanguard recipients. I want you guys to listen to how this guy expresses what he says. This is that Mike dude. What a complete douche.
Now, the second update is in regards to Indie Vanguard. Chantey was initially put on our radars through the 2023 Game Boy competition on itch.io. And this year, we want to recognize Gortyn Code for their impressive work in GB Studio and crafting such a killer throwback. But unfortunately, ModRetro produces the physical cart and ultimately profits off the game. With the news breaking of their horrid and disgusting handheld the day after the premiere.
So you listen to the words that he says, but it doesn't actually say like what's so horrid and disgusting. He just says with the news breaking that's just horrid and disgusting. What? Like, explain. What do you mean? What is horrid and disgusting? You can't explain because you know you'd sound retarded if you're like, it's horrid and disgusting that their connection and collaborating with a weapons company. Like, what's so horrid and disgusting about that? You don't like it, don't buy it, bro. But what about the game?
The IGA's nomination committee learned about ModRetro's vile nature.
Vile nature. Protecting the country is a vile nature now. You fucking hippie. Peace and love, bro. Make love, not war. Give this guy some of those flowers.
As the company strictly goes against the values of the IGAs, due to the ties the game has to ModRetro, Chantey's Indie Vanguard recognition has officially been retracted. On behalf of the organizational crew at 6-1 Indie, the nomination committee, and the jury, we sincerely appreciate your feedback and patience on this.
So you notice how he just completely throws ModRetro and Chantey under the bus immediately without giving a shit about what people think about Gortyn Code, just destroying them. It's not our fault, bro. We're the good guys over here, and these people are disgusting. Just trust me, bro.
Website has been updated to reflect these changes. There's also the full statement in the FAQ linked below. And we're currently working on editing the main premiere within YouTube's editor. If that doesn't work, worst case scenario, we'll take it down and re-upload it.
What an absolute shit show. What an absolute shit show. These guys should be embarrassed. I thought it was bad before. After diving further into this, seeing this research on what's going on with this is like a new level of low that I could have never envisioned. And I'd like to think at the end of the day, because of how they've acted, that this is going to bring even more attention and more sales to Chantey and ModRetro, because it's become Streisand from the situation. Far more people are actually going to want to give them their money now because they're like, oh, you actually stand against what those woke tards are saying? I would like to support your game now. So in the description of this video, I'll put all the links for everything. If you have any interest in this, check it out. I want to support devs like this. I feel like they got thrown under the bus by a bunch of woke tards trying to virtue signal, and their power is gone. Their time is come and gone. No one listens to them anymore. I'd argue nobody ever really did, but they especially don't anymore. And what they did to this Chantey game and retracting the award was the only disgusting thing around there. Asri 2000 says, I never heard of it. I never had a Game Boy. I'm considering getting one right now. I'm looking at ModRetro's website. Let's go. Let's go. That's what I'm saying. Like, I want this to be something that brings them money. I think that'd be amazing. Fuck this indie game awards. Fuck these people. Especially you see the people that are connected to it. Bunch of woke tards. Like, you have no power anymore. And they hate it.